Welcome to the fourth annual Small Business Contracting Forum 2022. Uh, my name is Abdul Muhammad, Accounting Manager in the Financial Services Department, Controllers Division, Central Accounts Payable. Today I'm going to talk about the topic Get Paid Promptly. Central Accounts Payable's mission is to pay to the correct vendor, the correct vendor, the correct amount, the correct vendor, the correct amount, with delivery to the correct address or bank account. And the last but not the least important mission is to make each payment only once. So let me give you a brief overview of the central accounts payable process. The city of Austin has a decentralized accounts payable process that begins in the city department that purchases and receives the goods or service provided by the vendor. Vendors must submit their invoices to the city department to which they provided the goods or service. Once a vendor invoice has been received, reviewed, and approved by authorized department staff, it is forwarded to the department's financial management section for payment processing. Going on to the next slide, the city of Austin has a decentralized accounts payable process. We have already gone through this slide. Sorry. Next slide is, a picture view of how this whole city of Austin accounts payable process looks like. So we have city department. You are the vendor here in the middle, and then central accounts payable section. So if you look at the city department, they will order goods or services, and you as a vendor provides or supplies goods or services. Then the city department, they will receive goods or services, and once you provide goods and services, you want to get paid, and for that you have to send us the invoice. So you as a vendor sends invoice to the city department, and then the city department will review invoice for accuracy purpose, and then they will initiate and approves payment request in AP system. They will send us, they will send central accounts payable invoice and other supporting documentation. So this will come all the way from the city department through to central accounts payable. And in the central accounts payable, we reviews the payment request, invoice and other supporting documentation, and approves payment. Once this is reviewed and approved in central accounts payable section, a vendor should receive a payment. So this is just a quick overview of how our central accounts payable looks like. So this is like a decentralized process. As you can see, the initial payment is initiated at the city department, and we use a system which is a digital modern system where everything flows in the system behind the scene. We don't have paper process. We get supporting documentation, but they're all attached to the payment request in the system. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So a good proper invoice must include unique invoice number, invoice date, goods ship date or dates of service provided if possible, the current vendor name and address that exactly match the vendor registration information with the city, the purchase order or the contract number. It usually starts with the PO, DO, CT if applicable, the department's name and the name of the point of contact for the department. Invoice shall be itemized, contains a description of the items delivered and transportation charges, if any, shall be listed separately. Sales tax must not be included in the invoiced amount. The city will furnish a tax exemption certificate upon request. So this is a very good slide for you to remember when you send us the invoice, and to avoid delays in payment. Invoice should include all this information here. I will show you a sample of invoice which will encompass all this information I'm talking about. Okay, here is this where to me this is a very good invoice. It has almost all the information listed and I talked about in the previous slide. So if you look at this, at the top it has the invoice number, and this invoice number should be a unique invoice number. We cannot have a duplicate invoice number in our systems. System will not process that payment. So in the past, if you invoiced the city of Austin and you used an invoice number, that invoice number cannot be repeated again on the future invoices. So this should be a unique invoice number. And then it should have a what you call invoice date. Okay. And then here, this is the city department's name. Okay. And if you look at this, it has the PO number. This PO number is issued by the city department. So if you include that information, it will help process payment faster. And also it has the buyer name. So in the city of Austin department, there are so many buyers. So if you put the buyer with whom you are doing a business, that will definitely help. And if you look at this, it has a description of this invoice, why the city should pay this payment. It has listed all the like the description of the items ordered and you have delivered it. And what else we have here on page 2? So it talks about delivery and handling. So there is no transportation charges, and also the sales tax. So there are no sales tax here. Again, the city is exempted from paying sales tax. So this is a very good example of an invoice, how it should look like. And when you submit an invoice like this, it will definitely help making that payment faster. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So what are the things you can avoid? These things on the invoice can definitely cause payment delays. What is number one? The number one item is sending invoice to the wrong city department or not listing department or contact. Obviously, if the invoice amount is incorrect, the city department will return that invoice back to you. Similarly, unit price does not match contract unit price. So when the city issues a PO or a DO or a CT or any other form of a contract agreement, the unit price should match to the contract unit price. If they are not matching, then obviously that invoice will get rejected. And do not alter the invoices. So if you have already printed an invoice, do not make corrections. Okay, if you want to correct something, just go into your system and make those corrections and send us a nice, clear, clean invoice. Payment address does not exactly match vendor record. So this point also is very important. What it is saying is, whatever the remit to address or the payment address you put on the invoice should match to the vendor record. So what is the vendor record? When you registered with the city issues a vendor code, and with that vendor code, it has all the information in our system, like your business name, payment address, like your TIN number. So what this point is saying here is the address, whatever the address you give to the city at the time of registration, that payment address should be listed on the invoice. Okay, next slide. Let's talk about payment. So under Texas state law, the city of Austin is required to process vendor payments within 30 days. Generally, the law measures timely vendor payments as the number of days between the later of the date the invoice was received or date the goods or services were received by the city. The city will make payments in the city will make payments in one of the following ways. It can be a check, electronic fund transfer. It can be mainly it is ACH. That is our preferred method. And there are some payments the city can make those by using a credit card. Okay, electronic fund transfer, ACH. So there are some requirements you need to meet in order to get paid by ACH. So register with the city to receive ACH payment. You have to register with the city. And how you can do that? You can do that by contacting vendor registration team. You can email them, and I have that email address here, which is vendor@austintexas.gov, or there is a phone number which is 512-974-2018. You can call this number. They will guide you the process of getting paid by ACH. The second point on this slide is very important. Invoice must provide the bank routing number, last 4 digits of the account number, and bank name. This is very important. We want to make sure each time we make ACH payment, that banking information of your bank should match to what we have in our system. So we do a match and then make sure that whatever you put on the invoice matches to what we have in our system. And the banking information should be pre-printed on the invoice, or it can be listed on a vendor letterhead. If you have a system where you cannot put the banking information on the invoice, you can submit that information on a separate letterhead. You can attach that letterhead, the document along with the invoice, and send it to the department. Okay, now let's talk about how to check payment status. We have a very easy and quick way of providing you a payment status, and you can do it by going and visiting Austin Finance online website. I will show you and talk about that process in the coming slides. And another way of checking your payment status is contact the city department or the buyer that ordered goods and services. So this is that Austin Finance online website where you can check your payment status. There are a couple of ways of checking it. So let me first show you a quick and easy way of checking if a payment is processed for your invoice or not. So obviously you visit this website, and once you are there, you will see different options here, and then you select checkbook. And then once you select checkbook, you will see this page where it has this section on the right of the screen. It talks about payment register reports. So you click like one of the reports here. It goes by the dates. If you look at here, it talks about prior week payments, current fiscal year, So the city's fiscal year starts from October 1st to September 30th of the next year. And you select, one of the reports you think you will get paid. So let's say you submitted an invoice 15 days ago, okay, and still you have not received that payment. So what you can do is, most likely that payment got processed last week, right? So then you can select this prior week payment report, and then it will have all that information. And similarly, like if you want to check something, you don't know if you have received a payment or not from last year, then obviously you can go to this current fiscal year report. Okay, once you select that, you will see this page where there will be an option to do control and find. Okay, so you can actually do that by pressing Control plus F at the same time, Control F. And then there should be a search box where you can select or put your business name. That business name should match to what you have given to the city at the time of registration for the vendor registration purpose. So like in this example, Overdrive Inc. I just typed Overdrive Inc. here, and then I press enter, and this report shows Overdrive Inc. was paid with a check date of February 18, 2020, and the amount was $55. The status is not that much important here, but but here you can see that a check was cut on so and so date. Okay, so this is a simple way of finding your payment status, whether a check was cut or not, or a payment was made or not. This report also has information about ACH payments, very similar to what you're seeing here. Okay, so second way of checking your payment status. So once you are there on the website, like Austin Finance online website, and you click checkbook, and after clicking checkbook, you will see this page where you can see this payee. Select this payee, and then you will be on this page where you can actually put your business name in the box. Okay, and then you can put year and month. I mean, this is optional, but at least like your vendor name is very important. But if you put like more information, your search will be faster. So you got the vendor name, you got the year and the month, and then again you press go here. So in this example, I have vendor name Collide, and then once I press go, you see here Collide was paid in the year 2020 for the total amount of $41,000 to $221.80. So this is like for the entire year. Okay, and then if you want more information about this total $41,000 payment, you just press or click this line here on any of you can press like just Collide, okay, or select Collide and then hit enter, and it will show all the details. So if you look at the details here, Collide was paid at least 3 times in 2020. One on February 21st, and then there were 2 payments on January 15, 2020, and then there was another payment on January 3rd, 2020. And it also gives you the purchase order numbers on which that payment was made. So if you look at here, it has 4 different purchase orders. And if you want to drill down further, you can select this purchase order and hit enter. Okay, so this purchase order ending 1937 was issued of contract master agreement so and so, and if you want to find more information about the master agreement, you can select master agreement information and then hit enter. It will give you like more details about that master agreement. So this is like how this is a sample of how it looks like. And the last thing I want to remind again, the city of Austin has a decentralized accounts payable process. Vendors must submit their invoices to the city department to which they provided the goods or services. The department will begin the payment process, and once approved by the authorized staff, payment documents are submitted to the central accounts payable for final processing. Hope you enjoyed this session and found some valuable information. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat box. I can answer those questions right away if I can. And also there will be what you call handout saved on this website, and you can download that handout, and that handout will be very useful. It has some important information about invoice requirements, which I have gone through with you, and also on the back of that handout there is a small description about how to search payment status. Thank you for your time, and as I said, just if you have any questions, just put it in your chat. I will answer them. Thank you.